dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think of just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must want this way. Tryna tell ya, look at dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. Look at dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. Mess around, find out.
What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Dew Show. Happy Monday, everybody. Pistons fans, the wait is over. The wait is over. Pistons basketball is officially back, and it began today with Pistons Media Day. And with us to react to it is Sarah Boss, who is a big-time Pistons fan who knows the game and the history of the game as well. So, like all the rest of us, she can't wait for Pistons basketball to return. So, Sarah, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Probably just as hyped as I am after today's little taste of the season. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Everybody, drop some love in the chat for Sarah. Show her some love for sure. We have a lot to get to tonight. But before we do, as always, we got to thank you guys. Shout out to everybody who was here. And we got to hear from you guys, too. So tap in the comments and let's talk about everything that happened today. One more thing. We got to shout out all the beat reporters who were in the building today and ask the questions that we wanted to ask. So shout out to all those guys for sure. Now, before we get into the interviews and sound bites, we wanted to bring you guys some photos from today. These are some of the many photos that were taken and that will be coming out soon. But we got a little JD, Cade, Jaden, and we got some Stu, some Ron, Paul. Who else we got? Yeah, so we got some guys here. Not everybody, but a lot of guys. It's good to see these guys back together again. They've spent a lot of time together this offseason, which we'll get to, but it's just good to see these guys back in the red, white, and blue for sure. So we've got some quotes from all the players who were available. We've got a couple videos from some of those, from our beat writers who got those out to us. The presser opened with Trajan Langdon. So, Sarah, we're going to start with him. There were some things that stood out to me, but I'm going to let you go first as far as what you kind of took away from what Trajan had to say.
You know, Trajan he just says what I think a lot of us are feeling and thinking. He hasn't deferred from his mindset from when he originally came in. He just wants the team to improve individually, to improve as a group. And that's his main focus, not setting expectations because that limits them, which I love. And, what stuck out to me is that they went into the team as the hunter. They were hunting back these wins that they didn't get the season before, and now they're kind of the hunted, and there should be no surprises playing the Pistons anymore. They used to be like the one-off team for years, and not just the last bad season, but for years they were the one-off team, easy win, and now they're not. Their competition, they're to be taken down, and it's going to be tough. So that's basically what I got from him, is just the same mindset of we're going in, but to improve individually as a team and to just get as far as we can with the same group of people that started it off.
Right. He was very balanced, very measured with his words, right? Didn't give too much away, which I'm not mad at all, to be honest with you, because what matters is that those guys understand it. But you made a good point about as far as with the Pistons last season kind of being the hunter, catching everybody off guard.
Yeah.
And now there's film on this team to watch. Going into next season. And that's kind of the difference. That's what kind of hurts me a little bit as far as with last season, because we really could have caught a lot of people off guard last year had we gotten a couple of things to go our way that maybe should have gone our way, right? So we really could have done some damage considering how the East kind of played out. But moving on, I think the fact that we're going to be so much better internally is going to be the difference anyway, and it's not going to really matter. But yeah, some things. So here's some things that I kind of took away from him. He talked about the young core, as always. Talked about offseason moves. He says they made calls this summer to see what was available to make a splashier move. But at the end of the day, he said they felt like it was best to not pursue those deals and see the potential in their guys this season. And I think that was nice to hear. There's been a lot of talk about trades and mock trades and things like that, rumors and who's going to go where. But it's just nice to hear that he's like, no, we thought about it. We looked out there because they're always looking. You always look, right? You never turn down phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
But it just shows that they came to the conclusion that let's just see what we have here because we need a bigger sample size to see what this group can really do. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I love that he kept the core together. He talks a lot about it. I mean, later on, JB talks about it too, just how they really want to grow with them. And I'm sure, they saw what our guys could do. Our guys are all full of potential still. None of them are even close to their ceilings. Right. So I think it would take a big splash to really move. So I'm sure that, like you said, he went around and talked, but it probably just wasn't enough because all of these guys have the potential to be number ones in the NBA at their level. So
yeah, the sky's the limit for sure. A few other things he had to say. He talked about, he was asked about the extensions for Jaden and JD, and he just replied simply, "We're excited that they're both members of the Pistons, and whether they would get deals or not," he just simply said, "I don't know." And that was kind of what was echoed by those two guys as well. It's like, we're not going to talk about this right now. It's not the time. We'll deal with that when we deal with it. And I'm fine with that too, because there's no rush right now to really do it. You obviously want to get those guys locked up if you can long term, but it isn't like it has to be done tomorrow, and they have a little wiggle room to kind of see and kind of work things out and come to a conclusion themselves. So I was fine with that. Talked about acquiring Caris Levert and Duncan Robinson. He said they're two high IQ players who can create not just for themselves, but for others too. They're also two high character guys that we are excited to have here. He said bringing Caris Levert and Duncan Robinson here in Detroit was a full circle moment after playing together at Michigan. Said they've been incredible off the court. So I thought that was cool to hear too. We talked about those two guys and their history with Michigan and things like that. And just to have them together, it's going to be kind of nice to see that connection if it kind of manifests itself a little bit, kind of playing the same way for that, for that organization there. But what are your thoughts on Duncan Robinson and Caris Levert getting the chance to show what they can do going into next season?
I'm excited. And I mean, it's something we can get into with their interviews, JB's interview as well, because they touched on it a little bit more. But I love the words high character. I love that that's just on the top of Trajan's list. And they show it. They show it in their interviews. They show it in their play. I'm excited. They're bigger guys than the veterans we brought in last year. They are play producers. They can do things on their own. I think they're just going to bring so much more to our team.
Agreed. Trajan talked about Cade a little bit. He said Cade did an incredible job as a leader last season and has continued to mature in that role for the Pistons. On how the playoffs helped Cade, he said he got to understand on both ends what it takes: the physicality, the attention to detail, the type of conditioning you have to have. And he talked about conditioning a lot with Cade, and I think that was a point of emphasis. It did look like down the stretch of that playoff series, Cade was a little tired. Yeah. He didn't seem to have it like he wanted. It seemed like he wanted to. The body was willing, right? The mind was willing, but the body was just wasn't there for him. So I think that'll be something that's good for him, especially since last season he really committed to playing two-way basketball fully. We know that JB challenged him last season. Can you do, I need this from you on both ends. Okay, say, okay, bet, let's get it. But what comes with that is being in the kind of condition you need to be to do that. And I think having this offseason is going to make him be better equipped to be a two-way player for the entire season and the playoff run once we get there. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, he used the word lucky, which got me thinking, he used the word lucky to be able to play a team like the Knicks in your first playoff experience because, it just had me thinking, and this isn't a dig at the Magic, but like if positions were different, our first round could have been against the Magic or something. And I don't think they would have given the guys a challenge enough to improve and really look back and see what they needed to change. I think that we gave the Knicks a huge run for their money. So it's just little things. And I think, like you said, just his composure towards the end, just how the fatigue that it brought. It's just how to basically, none of the players on the team except Tobias really have played and Dennis a playoff game where it is a series where you're just playing the same team over and over again. Yep. So I think that was huge. And then again, for it to be against the Knicks, who are a very physical, aggressive, good team, was lucky, like he said. So for the growth.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Trajan also said he hopes wins and player development will merge as the Pistons' top priority this season, which is pretty much what he said, the entire offseason. As far as not bringing back guys like Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, and THJ, Tim Hardaway Jr., he said it wasn't because we didn't want to. Other teams made competitive offers, and there were investigations that altered their plans. So they couldn't wait around. I think we would all agree that the Pistons want Bees back, but they just can't wait forever. And when you don't know when it's going to conclude, it's kind of hard. You can't just sit around and wait. So I understand his thoughts on that. It does hurt that we don't have Malik just because of what he brought to us last year. But I am confident in what guys like Duncan Robinson, like you mentioned, can bring to kind of supplement some of that. So I am looking forward to seeing how those guys do. Yeah, and I like that it wasn't a dig. I mean, all these guys contributed to our playoff run, so they are all important to the team. And it was crazy the chemistry that they had for guys like Dennis Schroeder came in from the free agent or the deadline, and Malik and THJ were new to the team, and they probably they did offer them, but like you said, the teams offered them more for their roles, and it'll be guys we miss, guys I don't necessarily look forward to playing because we know what they can do. So I do like that, because I think it settles some why would you just let him walk when it's well, we didn't, but so exactly. It's just the way that the business is, and those guys deserve to expand their game as well. So exactly, wherever they are and whenever that is, for sure. I couldn't agree more. All right, let's go to Coach JB Bickerstaff. Got a few things on him, but I'm going to let you go first if you had anything that you kind of noticed about what JB said.
I mean, I'm loving jumping off of these quotes because I basically just have notes off of the quotes. But first of all, so refreshing. What a great coach. I mean, just his mindset, talking about how he is also keeping in mind his assistant coaches and them wanting to grow their careers as well.
Right.
This whole team and organization is growing together, and that is just so cool to see. He talked about leadership and how just accountability and taking accountability for your mistakes, and you can lead by showing the guys on your team that, hey, I know what my flaws are. Here's me working towards them, because then the other guys are gonna be motivated to do that as well, and that's huge. Just like their process driven approach to their goals. I think we'll talk about it more, but I think my favorite thing that he said was just how some people experience a really good winning season and they kind of panic and they're like, well, now we have we got it. This is the core. This is a group. What do we need to bring in to go get the championship ASAP? And I've seen fans react that way as well. And, you don't want to over panic. And he said that we need to have faith in our group, and they deserve the opportunity to do it together, because so far this is what they've done. They started, at 14 wins. They tripled it, historical, and they deserve to go to the next level because they earn it. So that was my favorite thing that he said, but he said a lot of great things. So,
yeah, he definitely said a lot of great things. What stuck out to me with what you just said was how he really leads by example as far as taking accountability. He doesn't just demand it, but he publicly, not just in the locker room, but he's doing it in front of the press, right? He's saying, I need to work on that. I need to work on, these texts and not getting teed up so often. I didn't know that coaches can get suspended like players do after 16 texts. So, he said, I found that out. So I think that's a great thing, because we, like you mentioned, it's all about leading by example. We have fiery guys on this team, and I love every single bit of it. But sometimes getting a tech at the wrong time can hurt you. And I think if the coach leads by example with not getting so many, that will kind of trickle down to the players as far as just kind of channeling that energy elsewhere, right? So I think that's going to be a good thing that actually affects the basketball court. because you're not giving away as many 3 points and you're still keeping that fiery energy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I love that, he's been a coach in this league for a while and he didn't know that rule till they came to Detroit. I think it shows the frustration of also like, being a team, like, Cade not getting foul calls,
Right.
It's those kind of frustration of like not having, a Donovan Mitchell and a Darius Garland and a Jarrett Allen on your team to where they do get the benefit of the whistle because they are vets that have been in it. And I think, JB's stuff does come from frustration, but it's usually not, I would say not one particular thing. It's usually a buildup. And
right.
I think we saw it a lot. Even when Monty was coach, he had a couple of comments to the press about how he's just never coached a team that just didn't get the benefit of the doubt. So that just made me laugh a little bit because I love the passion of him, and he can get a few texts. That's fine. But again, at the right time, I think it really, it can really hurt you. And I do like that he stepped out, and that's one of the first things he did was take accountability for himself. So cool.
He's a leader. He's definitely a leader in every facet of the word. So, I give him a lot of credit once again for just being transparent about even things that he needs to work, and kind of unprompted because it wasn't a direct question asked that way, but he just kind of put himself out there. I really respect that. So yeah, we definitely have the right coach for this team right now, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
He was ready to put it out there. He was ready to be like, I got to address this because I want fans. I want them to know that I'm not here to screw anything up. I want to improve myself, and that's awesome.
100%, 100%. He talked about Jaden Ivey a little bit. He said there are no restrictions on JI. He talked about how being injured for an extended period of time is one of the toughest things to do, and having to sit and watch is miserable, but we know he's going to make us stronger. His character is clear, unbelievable teammate, and human being. Did you have any thoughts on what he had to say about J.I.?
I'm excited for that. I love it. And also he also finished it up, but he's a part of the team, and he's also a part of the locker room. And that got brought up a lot too with multiple people of like the locker room presence. Thanks. And as we continue talking, like a lot of them just talk about how close they are, how they hold each other accountable, how important this team is. And so J.I. was injured after January. He couldn't do anything on the floor, but he absolutely benefited the team by being there. And
for sure.
So I'm just excited that they questioned it and made me remember that like JB didn't get to coach J.I. a lot. He got to coach him for 5 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months.
30 game,
And to still see that in your guy that you haven't been able to have a lot of time with is awesome. And I really hope for obviously J.I.'s health this season. So
yeah, we'll get into him a little bit later for sure. But I definitely agree there. JB talked about versatility with the new acquisitions. He said we can be extremely versatile. We appreciate what the guys who have moved on gave, but the guys who they brought in provide more size and defensive versatility. Said they can play 5 guys who are 6'8" or bigger. And I saw a comment in the chat about this. Cam, shout out to Cam, says when JB said they have the option to run lineups that are 6'8" and up, that was him confirming the K rumors that he's 6'8". Right, facts. But he's not 6'6" like a lot of people claim. I've been up close. He's not 6'6" for sure. But yeah, that is something that is interesting because he talked about that all offseason. He talked about the importance of having defensive versatility. And guys who can switch everything, and having that ability to play guys who are versatile like that makes it very hard offensively to really be able to do anything you want to do. So any reaction to that?
Yeah, I think JB cemented himself in kind of a defensive guru with the Cavs. I mean, I don't think the Cavs would be where they are today if it wasn't for JB emphasizing defense. And I'm really happy that that's something he still emphasizes because that's something that's been a part of, the good Pistons teams throughout the years have been the defense. And so I'm all for that. They looked for size in addition to, Levert and Robinson can both do offense. They're two-way players already. So now we just get to add that on and they get to, help teach our young guys too how to do that as well. So,
yeah. And he talked about J.I. and Ausar. And it's funny because me and Erica just talked about this the other day. But he talked about how when they're on the floor together, they're probably the fastest set of wings you'll find in the league. Chad, if you guys were here last show, we just talked about the speed that we're going to have on the perimeter, being able to turn defense into offense like we did last season so often. the two of them are going to have a lot of fun on the break. And that's something that coach was kind of reiterating today. There are no faster wings than those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take time, right? He was saying, but he said Ausar came back and Jaden went out. And he didn't get the opportunity to see both of those guys did coach at full strength. And it was just nice to hear that, because I was really hoping to hear that, because those two guys together, the speed you have with just those two guys alone is ridiculous. And when you have a defensive mentality, it's going to create a lot of easy points.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of easy points. So he said we want to give those guys the opportunity to grow to this next level. He said he talked about Ausar and Ron a little bit. He said Ausar with the ball in his hands is a nightmare. He's learning how to do more things, initiating offense, working on picking up cheap fouls. That's something Eric Vince talked about often last year. And then one more thing, and I'll let you kind of chime in about Ron Holland. He said he has earned an opportunity this year, earned it from summer league play and offseason work. You can see a transformation in his game, and his shooting has come a long way. And the younger guys are going to be the guys to push us forward. So any thoughts on Ausar, Ron, any of the other guys, J.I., what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Ausar talks a lot about him and J.I. and him and Ron in his interview. So that's kind of where I also got most of that kind of point of view from. But, I mean, a connection like J.I. and Ausar will be huge. They had it a little bit before. But he with like Cade and JD, like, you know, they have a crazy connection. I mean, Cade and Ausar have a crazy connection. And Ivy and Ausar being able to, gosh, they're both, I'm so, like you said, it's gonna be great. They're both really good at stealing, creating chaos, as Ausar said. I think he said it reference to him and Ron, but I think it works with J.I. as well. That they create the chaos and turn it into offense. I mean, I think we are just gonna. Fast breaks and stuff are going to be huge in our play this year.
Like, we literally have Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams on the basketball court. As far as just speedsters at that position, I can't think of too many guys in the NFL who are faster than those two guys.
Nope.
Right? So, it's going to be crazy to see that in action. I know I want to kind of caution with that. There are going to be some turnovers. Just got to build those in now, right? Because when you're getting up and down that much, the excitement, the speed, it's just going to happen. But I think we're going to enjoy it more than we don't, for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
Cam, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree completely. I mean, the turnovers are, an issue with a couple of our guys, but I think they're all working on it. And just with fast break plays, just like with any team, it's going to happen. But I think I'm so excited. I'm just picturing in my head right now the fast breaks, the the alley-oops, all of those things.
Yep.
So
we're going to be out of our seats a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
So get ready. Cam says Sonic and Knuckles B-ball edition. I like that. I like it for sure. Yeah, a lot of similarities with our Lions, who are in first place, by the way.
Yes,
anyway, let's see, what else do we have here? He talked about Ausar a little bit more. Did JB? He said, trying to compete at a high level, guarding the other team's best player, still trying to play offense while working your way into shape, while playing in short spurts, not being able to catch a rhythm is hard. And he said having an offseason to work on his game, his conditioning, his chemistry with his teammates. If he can play at a high level with his freak of nature ability, imagine what he's going to be capable of. So, yeah, definitely Ausar's going to have – I think he may make one of the biggest jumps this year, just because he's going to have time. Like the first season with the Twins, it seemed like that was kind of the word on Amin at the time because he was hurt. He didn't play as much. And it was like, wow, look at Ausar. He's playing, because it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, right? And so I think it kind of reversed last season in a greater kind of, more extreme, obviously. But I think next season is kind of gonna balance out a lot more between those two, because now Ausar just does have the time and opportunity now to really get his body into shape and be able to focus on individual things instead of trying to just do a bunch of things at once, which is what happened last year. And he still played well considering that, which is crazy. So when he has time and he's given it, I think it's going to result in him having one of the biggest jumps for the Pistons next season.
Yeah, and I think it's also a lot of his mental game. When he first came back, his confidence wasn't huge. He made a lot of mistakes that we know is unlike him. And so I think his confidence over the season has is going to just affect his mental game, will affect his physical game as well. And now that him and his brother are both healthy, I think they have their own little internal competition. He's ready to go out there and show a man that he's at his level and better. And he's going to by doing that also he's going to show that the NBA world and the Pistons fans that Ausar. There's everyone in the comments, the better twin. I'm like, both these twins are scary good. I don't even want to say who's better because they're not even close to being their potential. And so like you said, he's going to take a huge leap and just do it all. They've trusted him with a lot last year, and now he's had the time to work on it and perfect it more.
Yeah. I think it'd be fair to say that, he's the guy that if he elevates to that next level would make the team elevate the most. Just because of what he can do in his build and his size and his athleticism. As he grows, the team drastically grows. I think it's going to be that kind of situation. Not to say it wouldn't happen with any of the other guys. I just think with him, because of how broad his spectrum is, if he's able to increase in those areas incrementally, as he continues to get better, this team is just going to be able to go to okay, anyway, I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track. Just thinking about the excitement for next season. All right.
Yes.
Let's go to Caris Levert quickly. He said Caris is one of the best guys I've been around. He never flinched whenever he was asked to do something. He's very adaptable. I have something to say on this, but I'm going to let you go first if there's anything you have on his comments regarding Caris Levert.
He just seems so excited to talk about him, and I think he had a major influence in why we picked up Levert and not others. And I'm really happy with it. I know some people are a little bit skeptical of why we have Levert if he was, a big enough acquisition, and I absolutely believe he is. I think he played so great on the Cavs. I don't think was it the Hawks that he was on? Yeah, the Hawks. I don't think that was the best fit for him. I think Detroit will, and I think that he does really good under JB. Like you can just tell that he's important to JB, and JB is excited to have him.
Right. Yeah. JB on record has said he's one of the most adaptable players he's ever been around. That's awesome. And I just looking at film with seeing him with D Mitch and seeing him with Darius Garland, he fit like a glove with either one. It didn't matter. He could play the point, he could play off. And there were times when whoever the other guard was, whether it was DG or whether it was D Mitch, they were like giving him the ball. Like, here, go ahead, set me up. Because they wanted to, they needed a blow or they wanted to get their offense going. So he can do it, he can do either. And I think that ability is going to be great with guys like Cade and J.I., who also have the ability at times to play either. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
All three of those guys could play the point or the shooting guard in spurts. That's scary. That's scary for any defense. So just that versatility and his ability to be able to get in where he fits in and be a chameleon, it's going to make things so much easier. And because he's played for Coach before, he knows what to expect. And it's going to not take as long. The learning curve is going to be as big as far as him understanding what's required of him. So I think it's going to be a seamless fit. I've been on record saying that he is the most important acquisition. I think Duncan's going to be important, but I think Caris is going to be a pleasant surprise, barring injuries. Yeah. Right. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to be great for his team for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on to Chaz Lanier, first player. Let's start with Chaz. He had a few things to say. He said his process since being drafted, he can feel the organization is headed in the right direction, he's going to bring his best every single day. He was asked about the NBA range adjustment, if he's had to kind of adjust to the NBA line, the three ball. And he said, not really. He said he's been working on his range a lot and he feels comfortable with the NBA line. I'm not surprised by that because I saw him in college, like launching from way beyond that 3-point line. So I didn't think it would take him that long to be able to adapt to that because he's been shooting it that far away for long enough at this point. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So that was an interview I haven't gotten to see yet, but just based off of how my thoughts for when we did summer league, once he gets comfortable with them, I think he'll be great because he played better with his point guard. I can't remember his name right now. The other bull. He did great. He was there. That was his best game when he got to play with him. I think it's just comfortability. So I think working with them, I'm not expecting him to come out and, be a Malik Beasley the first few games, but I'm sure that JB will get him minutes and get him warmed up and get him in there. And I think he'll have a huge impact on our shooting game when we need it.
Right. Zakai is point guard. Zakai. Shout out to Zakai for sure. But yeah, he definitely. I think when I watched him, I did see a little bit of bees as far as moving without the basketball, just catching and firing, quick release. But like I did see a little bit of that, so I was really looking forward to seeing that. But I do think that there are some guys that he mentioned that he has been watching, that he studied. He mentioned guys like D Book,
Yes.
Steph, obviously, and he also said that having Duncan Robinson to talk to has been huge for him. I thought that was cool to hear too. I didn't even think about Duncan actually being a kind of guy he want to talk to, but it does make sense as far as his skill set. So that was cool, for sure.
Absolutely. I think that, you know, he's just an eager little rookie, and we'll have to. I'm so excited that his first NBA experience gets to be with such a great team, such a great organization to help mold him into the player that he can definitely be. He can definitely take off in this league. So
for sure. Let's go to Marcus Sasser. So let's start with this. As far as he was asked about his offseason and things of that nature, and how he's kind of improved and what he's worked on, he said that the game has slowed down and that he has worked on his playmaking. There were some interesting things that he had to say that kind of got me thinking about what his role might be for this team. He said watching the playoffs last year put a chip on his shoulder because he wants to be out there in those moments. He said Dennis Schroeder came in and was a good leader. He learned a lot from him defensively, controlling the game, leadership in practice, and he'll take those things with him. And Sass says he knows he can score, but as a point guard, you can't just score the ball. You have to be able to do different things on the court. So he mentioned being a point guard. He said, me being the point guard. He's referenced himself a few times, and he said the point guard. I caught that he said the point guard multiple times. He said, knowing when to pass, when to shoot, it just comes with time and experience. But he said he's ready for this season. And lastly, he said he's been watching T.J. McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, Drew Holiday, and Dennis Schroeder. So I thought that was really interesting as far as with Sass, because a lot of us, have seen Sass as a shooting guard, a scoring guard, right? We didn't really see him play a lot of point guard as far as orchestrating the offense and running the offense last season. He just didn't seem comfortable. So it's interesting to hear that they are trying to kind of mold him into a floor general, right? Especially considering the guys he mentioned, T.J. McConnell, Nembhard, who can play either position, Schroeder, who he actually said he learned from. So it's just interesting to hear, things like that. So it makes me wonder what his role might be for next season, if we will see a different Marcus Sasser as early as next year.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say these comments. I'm going to close my window because my neighbor's leaf blowing right now, and I don't know if you can hear them buzz. But
no, that's cool. It's all good.
Yeah. So based on his comments and the comments from other guys, which we'll address, Sass is number 2 point guard. I think that they want Jaden at shooting guard. I think that that's where they're going to keep J.I. J.I. is to go in with Cade. He's just going to be first unit. And I do think that Sass is going to get a lot more playing time. I think that they've seen enough of him, because if you look at our lineup, there really isn't another backup point guard. Yes, we have players that can do it, but there isn't one that's like exactly a point guard. So that excites me. And the fact that he is studying TJ McConnell, because McConnell's just a pest. That's just how I describe him. I remember turning on the Pistons Pacers game last year, explaining to my stepdad, oh, this TJ guy, we can never stop him. He's a pest, And TJ was the perfect guy to come in for Hallie when Hallie sat down. And I think that Sass, looking at that kind of role for Cade to rest, for him to go out there and keep things, keep things going, but in his own way, his own style of play is huge. And I love that Dennis Schroeder was a huge influence on him too, especially defensively. I just think, with his playmaking abilities, I have always been a Sass fan. I was worried that he might be someone we moved this offseason, because he's been with us now for a couple years, and he had a lot of playing time, and then it went off with Dennis coming in. But it sounds like he is just going to be our number 2 point guard, and I'm thrilled about it, and I can't wait to see what he does.
Honestly, I am happy to hear this, because I felt like had he only been penciled in as a shooting guard, it would be hard for him to get an opportunity. So I think we lost Sarah for a second. We'll see if we can get it back. But I don't know if Sass would have gotten an opportunity if he was just penciled in as a shooting guard, because we have guys on this team who can kind of bring what he brings, but we kind of need a point guard. That's one thing that we do need. I do think that J.I. is going to stagger as far as with Cade. But I also think that having another point guard, a guy like Dennis Jenkins, who I actually like, right? Wouldn't mind seeing him get an opportunity. But a guy like him, I think, would be great. But, it's nothing wrong with Saz getting the opportunity. I'm glad he's getting the opportunity. I think if he can develop the skills to become the kind of point guard that this team needs, then he can be really good. If he can develop that ability to be a true point, because he's got the scoring ability already easily. He can score in his sleep, right? So if he can turn into what Chauncey Billups turned into, as far as just being a floor general who takes care of the basketball. Hey, she got the Chauncey jersey on. Big shot. Shout out, big shot. Yeah. If he can, because Chauncey came into the league as a scoring guard, the same way Saz did. So if he can kind of develop into that kind of a point guard, as far as knowing how to facilitate and just having a feel for a game and controlling it, and he still has the ability to score the way he does, now we got a totally different basketball player to worry about. And that's a great problem to have. So I'm happy to hear that, because I think this can make him a really good player. It may take a little bit of time to get there, right? Because that's not what he's used to being primarily. But if you can take time, and get to that point, which we kind of can afford to do right now, considering how deep we are, then I think it will be great for him, 100%.
Yeah, and I think he gets brought up a lot with a lot of guys. So I think that they have seen an improvement that we just haven't seen yet in him this offseason. And, these are improvements that could have started last year that we just didn't get to see because we had a distributor. So I think that, and you mentioned Dennis Jenkins. I think Sass as a backup leaves even more opportunity for Dennis, because if Sass is in the backup, then that means there's another one, and then it's Sass, and then it's Dennis. And I would love to see Dennis get playing time too.
For sure.
We never really took off and got huge blowout wins. We had a few towards the end of the season, but even then we were just practicing for playoffs, I think. So he just really kept in the second, maybe third unit. But I would love to get Dennis in, because, man, he can see the floor. And the media mentioned Sasser's height to him and asked him how, being a small guy, what he needs to work on and everything. And I think that is, seeing the floor playmaking, because like you said, he's got the shots, he's got the handles, he's a pest on defense with the steals.
Right.
I think he makes smart fouls personally. Whenever he makes a foul, it's usually pretty smart to stop a drive to the basket, because he knows he's not necessarily going to be missed if he's out, and he doesn't do anything. I think he's very smart in his game. So I am thrilled for him, and I do hope that we do see more of him right away.
For sure. Yeah, the talent is not the question at all. It's about making what he does work with what our team needs, and that's what it comes down to. So I think he can do it. I got confidence in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. All right, let's move on to a guy we kind of touched on a little bit, Caris Levert. Caris Levert had some pretty interesting things to say. He talked about the vibes first. He said the team spirit is amazing. He said guys like being around each other and working out together. And he said they all listen to coach. He said that really stood out to him, is that everybody has bought into coach and they believe in him and they listen to him. So obviously that's not something that he experienced everywhere else.
Yeah.
Otherwise he wouldn't have mentioned it here. So I think that's a good starting. That's a great starting point as far as things that he noticed, because you don't see that everywhere when contracts are involved, and when it's a newer coach and hasn't won anything, it's a lot of things that could go wrong. So it's just great to hear from a vet, right? Get a vet to sign off and say, yeah, okay, hey, listen, that's a great thing.
Yeah. Again, this was one I missed, so I'm just going to go off of the comments that you have and what I know about Caris. But that comment is huge to me, especially since he had this coach already on a different team. To me, it just emphasizes what a lot of people have said about the team, just wanting to grow, wanting to constantly improve. Because, even as a vet, sounds like Caris, like you said, is like JB said, is adaptable, wants to learn how to play the role the right way for the team. So, that's just huge. And I just love that so many positive comments about the team as a whole. That's right. I talked to you about it before, but culture is just so big with me. It makes rooting on the team so much better when you know that they are working just as hard for each other's success. So I hope that's awesome with Caris.
Yeah, it was nothing but positivity today from everybody. And it wasn't fake. You could tell it was genuine. And these guys really do care about each other. It's a good thing to have it in the locker room. When you have that unity in the locker room. Very important. Other things he had to say, a few other things. He said THJ actually influenced him to come here. He said Tim was one of the vets on the college team in Michigan. He said he learned from his preparation, and THJ had nothing but good things to say about the organization. He just talked about as a whole. On JB, he said, I knew JB would bring a level of structure, professionalism, and discipline, and that this team was talented. It just needed direction. So, I mean, we all knew that, right? Watching the year prior to last, we saw the talent was there. That wasn't really the issue. It was just a matter of being able to put it together. And so now we had a coach that finally knew how to do that for this team of young guys, right? And kind of just teach them ground roots from the foundation how to do it. So 100% was happy to hear that from him. He also mentioned Dick Caris. He said being back in Michigan with Duncan has him super excited to play with him again. And no one thought that Duncan would be in the league still playing 7 or 8 years later. So just credits to his work ethic and his fight and his motor. I mean, he plays hard. He's not a great defender or anything like that, but Duncan Robinson does play hard.
Yeah.
I'm
not worried about the defense.
Go ahead.
JB. I'm just not worried about it. I think JB will push just like he pushed Cade. I think he will push Robinson. Doesn't matter how many years you'll be in the league. If you're willing to learn, he'll push Robinson to work on that too. So I'm not worried about that.
And that's a good point. He seems to know how to motivate these guys for sure.
Yeah.
As far as Caris playmaking alongside J.I. and Ausar, he said he can fit in and play with a lot of different players. JB echoed that he's one of the most adaptable players he's ever been around. We talked about that. And then also on Caris's ball handling ability. He said the second year he was with the Cavs with Darius Garland got hurt and he was asked to do more. He said his natural position is being a playmaker, so that was easy. And he said over the years, he's become a better mover without the basketball. So like I mentioned, man, I think Caris is going to be a seamless fit. I really do. I think he's actually going to be to help some of these guys as far as some things with coach because he had the years prior to kind of learn him a little bit, right? So yeah, I definitely see it working both ways, and it's going to be a good thing for this team for sure. Yeah,
I agree. And I think with the playmaking, that's so funny because, you know, when I think of Caris, I do think of him as, you know, I think of him as the non-playmaker, the one who is moving around the court. So that already just shows how much he's just grown in the past few years because that's how I picture him. I picture him being, you know, someone, a target for Cade. And it sounds like that he can do that and find the targets himself. So that's awesome.
Right. For sure. Talking about Duncan, he had a few things to say. He didn't have as much to say, but he had a few things. He talked about how close this group is and how much fun the team has together has been impressive. He said he's never been around such willing screeners as Stu and JD.
I saw that.
He said Stu actually got mad at him because he said Duncan wasn't using his screens well enough. And he said that really speaks to the selflessness to be able to help him, you know, get a good shot and things like that. So it was nice to hear that. Like that's on point for Stu. That's right on. That's exactly something Stu would do. Come on, bro. Use like, you know, I could definitely see it. So I think those guys off the bench are going to be great together because Stu does say JD got better over the season. Like to start the year, JD kind of struggled. Yeah, you could see he had the offensive fouls. He just didn't know how to. The timing wasn't there with Cade, right? But over time, he got better and better and better, and the defender was getting erased more and more and more. And then Stu, he's just a wall. So imagine the screens. Like Bam Adebayo is a good screener. Stu is a better screener, right? Yeah. So I think that's going to allow Duncan Robinson to get a lot of open shots. Is just being able to have the space in the room. I mean, he can knock it down with the hand in his face anyway. But I think just having all that space is going to make it so easy for him. Yeah, I agree. And I did catch his and I was really, I liked how he said that he was really impressed by how inquisitive the team is, that these players are coming up and asking him, you know, things that help grow. And even he was like, you know, it humbled me because I'm like, why are you talking to me? You know, he's the vet now. And, you know, he is, and in terms of his game, he can elevate a lot of these young guys. So I just love that, you know, he brought forth again that they're asking questions. He's wanting to grow. It looks like it's inspiring him to want to grow. Like he said too, it's like, I need to get better using the screens, you know? And I love that, you know, Stu called him out for that because that's just how they are. And that his motto is kind of keep it simple. He wants his game to be intentional and he wants to have better decision making. So that's awesome. And I think that again, he moves so fast. He's like Malik. He's just moving. And so I think constant movement. Yeah,
be crazy good too. And he has that, you know, spark. We saw the little tussle that him and Ron got into, whatever.
Oh yeah, last year.
We love to see that. I love the passion. So
Yeah, and they apparently Ron talked about that. They apparently talked about it and laughed it off. So they're definitely good at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Ron doesn't back down, but he doesn't seem like he'd hold a grudge unless it's serious. So
yeah, it's like with Ron, if you don't bring it to him, he's not gonna, it ain't gonna be nothing. But once you bring it to him, that's kind of when you open Pandora's box, and you gotta kind of go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's go to Tobias. The biggest thing that stood out to me with Tobias is he talked about how these guys have been 100% engaged.
Mm-hmm.
He said everybody is participating in everything, and that's really helping them build camaraderie and hold each other accountable. He wants to make sure these guys are getting better individually. He said they got a taste of the playoffs, and now they need to work on, or they all need to work on attention to detail to bring into next season. And he said the entire group is focused on the mission. And as far as the expectations, he said, and this was important, we have to prove that we have to be better than we were last year. So that's the key. You can't just rest on your laurels. This is the beginning of something greater, right? So I think that was important for him to not, don't get relaxed. Don't kind of let off the gas at all. You got to keep the pedal to the middle. And they all seem to have that mentality. You can see it across the board. They're all ready and itching to get back on that court. So it's just good to have a vet like Tobias to reiterate that.
Yeah, I exactly just read my mind there, because it just made me think of how I don't think there's anyone on this team, especially after that 14-win season, that would get complacent in how they do. But for Tobias to be there to remind them is awesome. I just picture that one photo that he had off the bench where he was like screaming at the ref, I just picture him doing that to them on the daily, holding them. I mean, when he says accountable, I'm sure they keep each other accountable, but I bet he's up there. I bet he's up there being like, calling out what he sees. And that's what these young guys need. And I'm so glad that they have him to do that. And Tobias, I got to give him credit, because all this offseason talk, I know that the guys are used to it, but that man is in every trade package that people come up with. And he deserves, he was so great last season.
Yep.
He provided so many points, and when he wasn't providing points, he was out there just helping with space, just helping with tempo. And I'm so glad to have him back. I know last season when we signed him, a lot of people were like, I don't know, the Sixers, didn't want him, we're giving him a lot of money, whatever. But he really has proved. And I'm glad that he's back on the Pistons as a vet, because it's the exact kind of person I'd want as my vet. So
100%. No, yeah. I mean, especially he does a lot of things off the court too. He has a lot of initiatives that he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. So
awesome.
100%. So he is genuine. It's real. And like you mentioned, he does have the experience. He has experience in the benefit of playing here before. He's been here before. Different regime, yes, but he knows the city. He knows what the fans expect. A lot of those things he can kind of help these guys understand. So I think he's really going to be important. I do think the Pistons, I think he deserves to have that contract honored, the 2-year deal. Yeah. And I think I talked about this last show. Sixers fans were upset because of the contract, because he was making $36 million. He's making $10 million less here. Yeah. So the expectation rises, unfortunately, as always, when the money is it is what it is. But I think they also had different expectation levels as far as him on the court as well. The Pistons knew that last season was going to be a season of learning. Yeah. Right. You think about the Sixers team; they had guys already over there who were vets, so a different role, right? It was more valuable to this team.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the level the Sixers were at compared to where we were at. The Sixers were in championship. I mean, they had, Joel Embiid. Like they had championships. They had their higher expectations from their own fan base as well. And, maybe if we didn't do as well, we'd be saying something different about Tobias. I personally wouldn't be. But I just think that he, and just like any team, like he seems to mesh a little better than he was in the Sixers culture. So I don't necessarily blame the Sixers fans for disliking him or whatever, because they have their own expectations, their own problems, their own things, their own goals. Yeah. But he's just brought so many good things, and it, like you said, in the community, in everything, and he just keeps his head up, and I think he's fantastic at blocking out any noise and just getting out there and doing what needs to be done. So
for sure. Yeah, great bet to have, man, on and off the court. So he definitely is worth the money that he is getting. I can definitely say that for sure. All right, let's move on to Isaiah Stewart, and we have a clip on him, so we're gonna watch that and react to that.
What were your emotions during that series last year as you would have success guarding Karl Anthony Towns?
Oh yeah, it was frustrating. It was definitely frustrating. I felt had I played, the series would have turned out different, and we would have been able to advance. Adding what I do in defense and my task with guarding Cat in that series. So I feel like it would have been a different outcome.
Okay, so I know it was months ago now. I know it doesn't matter. I know we're looking ahead, but I'm so glad to hear him say that.
Yeah.
I feel like he finally said what everybody was thinking.
Yeah. Man. Absolutely. Man. I mean, it's just with the whole, like a lot of them said, chip on their shoulder. And he looks like this happened 2 weeks ago. He talks about it like it happened 2 weeks ago. Right. The frustration is there and it's alive and it's going to drive him. And the damage he could have done at the rim is insane.
Yep.
And I also would bet on him to make a 3-point shot if needed. So I also hope for his health. Gosh, it's just we are so lucky to have the centers that we do, the big guys that we do. Truly, yeah,
definitely. He definitely would have made things difficult for guys like Cat. Not to say that guys like Toby didn't do an admirable job. But Stu's strength, along with being able to move his feet, he's kind of like the hybrid of Tobias and JD. Tobias has the quickness, JD has the strength.
Yeah,
Stu has a little bit of both of that, and he's the right size to be able to guard a guy like Cat. He's perfect fit for a guy like that as far as being able to guard. So I 100% think, especially with us losing the entire series by combined, what was it, 6 points?
Yeah.
So come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just nice to hear him kind of confirm that we weren't crazy and that we weren't just being biased. But yeah, of course, it definitely would have been different. But you mentioned the 3-ball, right? He talked about that actually. He said that bringing in he and JD talked about it a little bit, not as far as the 3-ball, but he said bringing in the 3-ball would help. Coach has talked to him about it. He said it's a weapon, and he said he shot 40% 2 seasons ago, and he's looking forward to bringing it back. So this was. I don't know. I honestly didn't know how I felt about the 3. He can shoot it, but me and King would always say, I want to see you just get that mid-range consistent first.
Yeah.
Just start there. More so with JD, because at least Stu has shown he can shoot it, right? But as long as that's an option, as long as they're not turning down middies, because I think the mid-range game at this point in the NBA trajectory is really important. Yeah. But I just want to see a mix of both. I don't want to just see, dunks and threes. If the midi is there, I want to see that being able to be used as well, and not even just him, but all these guys. So I'm not mad at him shooting it. He can shoot the ball. He's shown he can shoot it, and he works his tail off in the gym working on it. So I'm not mad at it as long as it's it's not a bunch of attempts a game and they're not quality shots. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think they talked about, like using it as a weapon against certain opponents. Going from the 4 to the 5 last year, I think he proved himself. I think JB was like, all right, you can be our backup center. And now let's bring back in the game that you were used to before. Because for the first 4 years, he wasn't really the 5.
Right.
And so I agree with the mid-range because, yeah, he kind of lacks that. But to just be able to shoot it out to him, because there were some videos of him and people commenting. I didn't know. I mean, no one knows Stu except for his temper. If you're not a Pistons fan, but they're like, I didn't know he can shoot threes, and he really can. And I think like he talked about, they're just going to use it as weapons against certain opponents.
Yeah.
And just to bring it back, it sounds like he really likes being at the 5. He really likes what his role now, and now to just also have the confidence in his coach to be able to move to the outside if needed is huge for him.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is he actually can knock down the mid-range jumper. I've seen him do it. His rookie season, the second. Yeah. I saw it in pregame warmups. I watched him knock down about 10 or 15, I think it was 15 straight middies. Yeah, that's warmups. But he can shoot the ball. So that's why I'm like, just use it. It's there for you. Right. I would like to see that kind of just worked in along with the 3-ball if it's there. You know what I mean? So
that could be a Ben Wallace with a jump shot. That's crazy to think about,
Right. Right.
That's scary. So yeah, I think we'll see more. I think especially he did some things last season that he didn't try before, like, backing up on Mobley and, his teammates up clapping for him anytime he had the ball in his hands, because he would usually drive to the basket. Yeah. So it'd be nice if he could, shake a defender and just pull up. So maybe that is something he's working on more, but just the threes were a media question that he answered. So.
Right. For sure. For sure. And I wanted to address this. Eric Robinson said, mid-range, bro, that's not how the game is played anymore. People need to accept that. Bro, the MVP just you know what Shai Gilgeous says, bro? You just won MVP, knocking down that thing 50% of the time. But it is what it is. And I'm not saying take a bunch of them. I'm just saying don't turn it down if it's there. Keep the defense honest. That's all I'm saying.
And sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the 3-game is there, and you see teams. Who was it last year? There was someone last year that's like, if they just stop shooting the 3, they might have a chance at this game.
Yeah.
I think if you can shoot a 3, you should be able to shoot a mid-range.
Right.
And it's if the 3-game is to adjust to the 3-game, it should be, let's show off our other skills and shoot a mid-range and throw these defenders off, because they're only gonna, defenders are learning how to defend more on the outside, things like that. And so
Exactly.
I don't think the mid-range might appear dead, but it's just another skill that can be lethal. So I think the mid-range should be, and like you said, SGA, I mean, his fadeaways are crazy. And I mean, one of my favorite guys to watch all time is Rip. And I know that threes weren't a big thing back there, but Mr. Big Shot, Rashid, Tayshaun throwing up threes. You didn't see Rip do it too much, but you could always count on him in the mid-range. And if you have a player that you can always count on the mid-range, then who cares about the 3-game?
And here's the thing. Rip didn't shoot a lot of threes, but he can make them. You can't leave them open.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's exactly the point. Take that and flip it. That's literally what I'm saying. As far as if the mid-range is there and you can knock it down, knock it down. If the 3's there and it's 3 and is there, knock it down. Why not have another skill to add to your bag? So that was literally the point that we're trying to make.
Yeah.
But let's move to a little bit more on Stu. When he was so he was asked who took the biggest leap. And he said he's excited for Ron Holland's second year and Bobby Klintman, a guy I have been very high on, chat, for about a year and a half now. So I was really happy to see that. I'm telling you guys, I think he's gonna be the backup 4. I'm standing 10 toes down on that, but we'll see. But yeah, him and Ron, where he said the guys that he felt took the biggest leap. He also said Sasser has been looking great. He said he and Sass could be spending a lot of time together, and he's excited for everybody to see that. So once again, Sass may be kind of cooking something up, for us to see next season as far as how his game may be transforming. So that is exciting to think about for him, just getting the opportunity. Any thoughts on any of that?
I mean, I just going back to Sass. I mean, I could see him rotating in for Ivy too, and then someone else rotating in for Cade. I mean, we just have a ton of shooting weapons on our team, and it just excites me. The Klintman things, I will say, Klintman is someone, of course, I want to succeed. I haven't personally seen it yet. He was actually who I would consider my biggest summer league letdown, only because I feel like it's there, and I'm just like waiting to be like, there it is. That's kind of where I'm at. Like there's what we know he can do. So to hear that from Stu is huge, because I mean, for Bobby to come up as one of the top 2 that Stu immediately thinks of, that's exciting. And if he can get in and be the backup 4 and show off, I'm so ready for it. That's also a new weapon that other teams don't know about yet. So that's cool.
Yep. We've got a few of those. I think the thing with him really quickly, as far as the difference, is that I think he's going to have teammates and guys who are better suited to what he does. Because he's not a guy. He was asked to do a lot more in summer league. And I think guys who are just have a little bit more physical, natural gifts like Ron, they can take on more on their plate a little bit easier than guys, like Bobby, who's not quite as gifted athletically, but can do certain things very, very well. And I think I don't think he had the guys around him, or I don't think he needed to have as much on him as far as playmaking, because he's not a guy who can just get by his guy off the dribble. Right? He needs to have somebody closing out on him. He doesn't have a quick first step, but once he gets 2 feet in the paint, he is going to make the right decision with it. Right. Yeah. So I think once we see him with guys who fit what he needs, if we have guys who can get 2 feet in the paint, kick it out, and now he's, he can kind of react off of that as opposed to trying to just make a move off the dribble. I think that'll be something that we kind of see him being put in better positions, but we'll see. That's kind of the fun part about it, is that all these guys are good enough to prove. So we'll see how that plays out.
No, I like that point of view. I look forward to it. I just remember they constantly called him a gazelle on the court. He's got such a he can go so far in 2 steps. So if he's a tool that our guys have learned how to utilize, then I'm all for it. I'm excited to see it.
For sure. Devon says Bobby can be our Wiggins, but he does still. Yes, he does. Yes. Don't get that twisted. He definitely has a lot of growing to do, for sure. I think it's going to start as early as next season. We'll see. Dwayne says basketball is still basketball. At the end of the day, if you know how to play, how you play isn't as important. That's true. Yeah. That's true. All right, let's move on to our next player. So the next guy we have is Ron Holland. And we're going to start with a quick little soundbite from Ron, and then we'll react and get more into it.
Being able to talk to AT, if you watch us, we're 2 different types of defenders, but we both cause chaos. And I feel like that's what's going to throw a lot of teams off if we're on the floor at any time together. But just being able to talk to AT and kind of get what he reads and what he looks at, and vice versa what I do, we'll be able to build off each other. And we about to be a problem for teams. I just want y'all to know that.
I love that dude, man.
Me too.
Absolutely love that dude. All right, so listen, earlier you mentioned Ausar and Ron talking about causing chaos like you just mentioned. So you want to take a stab at that first?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're on the same page. It's clear that they're communicating, that they are looking forward to the connection that they have together on the floor. It also shows me that they expect to play together a ton. And the way that JB also talked about Ron, he's probably going to be the 6th man. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one off the bench to come in for someone in a game, because he really does bring the spark, bring the fire. Mm-hmm. I think that, their defense, fantastic. I think Ausar said this, maybe Ron did, but the nickname 9 to 5.
They both said that, yeah.
I love that. And it just goes to show that they are, that's offensive. And here he is talking about defense. So that means that they have confidence in each other on both sides of the floor. And Ron, it's a surprise 5th pick has just really worked out for our team. And the fact that he is the one that everyone is saying has improved. We saw it a little bit in Summer League, but it sounds like it's even more. That's so exciting. Yeah,
it is. The thought of those 2 guys together on the court. Like I think about teams that have 2 good wings. If you think about before Tatum got hurt, him and Jaylen Brown, these are the 2 guys you want guarding those guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
literally, right? You could throw J.I. in there too, because I've seen him guard Jaylen Brown very, very well as well. But these 2 guys, like this is a nightmare for offenses, right? So I'm just looking forward to hopefully both of their shots improving. I've heard a lot of great things about Ron and his shot.
Yeah,
I can say that much. Brett Vincent, hopefully he's continuing to get the most out of these guys. I'm sure he is. I just hope we see some kind of improvement. Not even just the 3 ball, but just the comfortability of being able to take it when it's there, right? And I think that's going to go a long way, because you're going to have guys who all over the court are 2-way players, and that's going to be a scary sight. That's going to be a scary sight. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. As far as with Ron, he talked about his off-season work. He said after the season, he got to work right away, working on his jumper and eating and conditioning. So conditioning seems to be the theme for all these guys, and you need it to make deep playoff runs, right? When you play as hard as the Pistons do, you need to have that. He talked about shooting, ball handling, moving without the ball, attacking in transition are things that he focused on this offseason. He mentioned Summer League. He said he knew he was going to be the leader for that team, and being the leader on that squad was important for him. And like you mentioned, 9 to 5 is back. That's what he mentioned. So he gets his number back. So does that mean that Beasley comes back, he's got to wear 0?
That's what someone asked in the comments, I think.
Oh, did they? Let me see.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it.
Dwayne, I got you. Okay. If we sign Malik back, does Ron? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I think this time around they're gonna let Ron keep it.
Yeah.
Like he already gave it up once, bro. Like, come on, it's my turn. Switch it up. That's kind of what I would see.
And if I was Malik, I'd want a fresh start. I'd want a new take, a new mindset. It's the numbers are important to these guys usually, so I would think so. But yeah, Ron. The fact that he said that he took being the leader of the team seriously, that's just such another green flag for this kid, because that just means that he not only wants to learn, but he wants to also take on responsibility. And I think, that's just huge. And I think he also made a comment. He took accountability for some of the the silly texts he got. And, I don't think he got too many. I think that, his emotion got the best of him as a young guy a lot, but he also, it was warranted, so I think he brought a lot of spark, and just learning to control his emotions, I think will just help a little bit better on controlling the tempo, the pace, his decisions on the floor. And then 9 to 5 too. And like with Ron and Ausar, their dunks last season come first to my mind when I think about it. Ron had some, crazy creative ones, Ausar as well. And so, like you said, they're working on their plate. I think both of them will have a great off the basket shot, but I think, gosh, I would trust either of them to just take it to the rim too. So
yeah. It's funny. You talked about the text, and you're right. Like, he didn't have it was like he had a ton of them last year. It's funny because I thought about it earlier. He was the opposite of what Rasheed Wallace was as far as text. Rasheed was always getting into it with the refs. He wasn't really getting into it with players. Yeah. He was just the refs. And he was Ron, on the flip side, doesn't get into it with the refs. Ron get into it with the players. It's just funny how it's the complete opposite as far as how they would pick him up. But I just thought that was funny just thinking about it. But both of those guys, fiery guys. Yeah, I think Ron's going to be fine. Yeah. Because Ron wants to do his best for the team.
Yeah. Right. I think he made a couple sloppy mistakes last year that I think he realizes, and he will do better this year. I think the text thing and the emotions is just more about his decision making on the court, and I think he will do just fine. It sounds like he's already improved already. This is a kid I'm so excited to see in his second year.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it does. It kind of feels like his third year, the way he played so well in his first year. Yeah, for sure. I know. Lastly on Ron, he's like you mentioned, he said as far as his approach, he said he's never going back down. He said, but he can calm down the extracurricular stuff, but the approach never changes. He's going to let his game do the talking more. So that's how you do it, right? You do it through your play. That's just the way to do it. So he's already growing. We're already seeing growth within him already. Year 2 is going to be fun, man, for sure. Yeah. And as Ron always says, y'all going to see. He keeps saying, y'all going to see. Y'all going to see. We're going to see.
Yeah, and I hope that he let some of that fire out in preseason, because that's a good time to do it. It was last year, one of our first tastes of him, when he just held onto the ball with that vet. I forget who it was, but they just held on and he wouldn't let go. And it's the vet and the rookie. And
with the jump ball,
the ground, rolling around. And it was just like this is exactly what we need.
This is our guy. Right. He's a Piston.
I think, he's a Piston. And I love the Rasheed thing too, because also Rasheed was all talk. That man never laid hands on anyone, Like, he just talked his way into his 41 technicals a season.
For sure.
But like you said, Ron he's not going to back down. And some guys get under their skin, but hey, there's a couple guys on our team like that, and I love it. Yeah,
I love it for sure. All right, let's move on to Ausar Thompson, who, by the way, looks bigger. Yeah, Ron looks bigger too. Ron did put on about 15 pounds, I believe, but Ausar looks noticeably just wider. So much broader, right? So let's go ahead and check out this clip from Ausar, and then we'll come back.
Walk us through the offseason. Obviously, last year you missed time, so being able to come in with a game plan from the start, what did you focus on, and just overall, how would you describe this summer?
I would describe this summer as, great. I felt like I improved my game a lot. I was working on a lot of ball handling, shooting, finishing. A little bit of everything, but with the focus being like ball handling, shooting, finishing, I would say. So, great summer. Learned a lot. I'm excited for the season. Being back with the guys, with the old guys and new guys, learning from them and just building chemistry with them as well. It's been a lot of fun. We've been playing, being up and down, and we've been working out for a while. We've seen each other a lot this summer, so I feel like that was very important. So I didn't get a chance to miss these guys. That's all right.
Man, all these guys are just happy to be back. You could tell they're glad to be back and playing basketball again. So, any reaction to what Ausar had to say?
I mean, first of all, I think his media presence is awesome. I mean, the way he comes out with enthusiasm, ready to answer questions. I was just like this. I mean, all of them did great, but like I could have just sat and listened to Ausar talk for hours, because he really loves the game, and you can see it. He talks about a lot of it being like just shooting, being more aggressive, making decisions. But I really liked, I don't think it was in that clip, but how he just talked about growth on defense too, is not fouling a lot just to stay on the floor. Like, not falling for things, trying to take risks when it's necessary and not taking others, because he wants to be that, he wants to force the opponent to make decisions. He wants to be the main defender. He wants to be the guy that's out there. It's like, ooh, Ausar Thompson's out here. It's going to be tough,
Right.
And so that's awesome that he's been able to just connect those two. Because, a lot of them, he's a young guy, so maybe he doesn't get the benefit of the whistle. There was that game where against the Knicks where, Brunson was bragging about getting him fouled out, and there were some questionable fouls, like really, and it's just something he has to deal with. But I think that he just going into the mindset of like, how can I defend this person without getting into trouble is just huge. And I know that that's like the point of defense, but I don't think a lot of guys necessarily consider that in every intention play.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Ausar, I mentioned it earlier. I think he's going to have a huge jump this season. Just getting the opportunity to do what most guys get to do in the offseason, which is just kind of get back, get into a rhythm, work on your game. Him having that's going to be huge. He talked about how guarding, the number one in the playoffs really helped him to learn about how refs call games from regular season to playoffs. But he said he can't blame the refs, and he just has to learn how to adjust. And I was happy to hear that for sure, because at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to the refs, right? At least I'm not going to say that because some games did come down to the refs in that series, but for the most part, I would have to say that you can't blame the refs. So he needs to learn how to take chances when he should, and not always every single time.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned being aggressive on both ends of the court, right? He said how last year he was aggressive on defense, but this season he wants to kind of carry that to the offensive end and not forcing it, but kind of staying aggressive. And that's kind of what a lot of Pistons fans were hoping for. They're kind of saying they feel like his brother kind of does that. His brother is more fiery on offense, and that's kind of what they want to see from Ausar. And I think we're going to get that. I think it was more so just about comfortability. And once again, not having those reps, not having the opportunity to be able to get there, to have the confidence to do what he wants to do. So once again, I think we're going to see a transformation a little bit from him too, as far as just having the confidence on both sides of the ball, because he had the reps in the offseason. So yeah, he's going to be just fine for sure.
Yeah, confidence is the exact word that he kept using. And it's something that I noticed last year, the lack of confidence and just coming back into the game off of his blood clot, which is, of course, there's an adjustment period. But if anyone can switch on his confidence, it's him, because he absolutely can do what he sets his mind to. I mean, like many people have described him and Amen to be is they are freaks of nature. They can do it all. And he talked about wanting to bring back the fast pace and speed with JI. It sounds like, JB focused a lot on breakaways and getting the offense down the court quick last season. And I think the more opportunities we have not to start our offense at half court and to start it right away is just going to benefit us so much, especially with a weapon like him. And then he also said that Duncan is his vet right now, which is great because Duncan's the shooter. So his vet, like Duncan's whole thing is offense. So that means that Ausar is taking this very seriously. He wants to improve, and he wants to be able. That's another guy that's like, can get the alley-oops from Cade, or he can, get a bounce pass or work off a screen and do the mid-range. Which is great.
Exactly. Yeah. He also mentioned too, he looks forward to playing with Jaden. He said that JI is one of the fastest people I've seen in my life. Yeah. And I consider myself to be one of the fastest people that I know. So once again, the speed on the wings is going to be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Just watching those guys just run a track meet up and down, up and down, up and down. It's gonna be great. So yeah, it's gonna be nice to see those two and the rest of these guys play. Let's move on to our next player, which was Jalen Duren. We've got a clip for JD, and we will come back.
I mean, it's been great. Obviously, like you said, we're close. It's my guy. I think I got a great relationship with everybody on the team. We had the opportunity to travel this summer, put our feet on different land, and just explore. And I think it kind of brought us closer together. We was able to get some work in together. That's something I've tried to do every summer, though. Like, this is the first summer we've done something. It's the first time I've been to Europe, but every summer I try to go wherever he's at least for a couple of weeks, and just get some work in with him. You know what I mean? Whether it
Arlington or LA or Miami, wherever he's at, I try to get like 2 weeks of just good work, whether it be on the field, on the court, whatever, just to kind of build that. I think it's been helping us.
So my initial reaction to that is that JD is taking this very seriously now. Here's why I say that. A lot of players I've seen play the game, extremely talented, but they didn't have guys around them or a point guard around them to really maximize their ability. And I think JD understands that he has a point guard, one of the best in the game, who can help him get as close to his ceiling as possible. Help him as much, make the game so much easier for him than a lot of guys couldn't. That's for him to say, I do this every year. I'm going to where he's at, wherever he's at, I'm there. He understands the importance of getting those reps in with his point guard, when his point guard can do the things that his point guard can do. So I took away from that he is very serious about becoming a better player and helping this team become a better team.
Yeah, these great points, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, when you think of JD, you think of him on defense, or around the rim, and to work with Cade and just want to be with Cade, like he just wants to make. I think that's just huge for spacing and making a better team interaction on the court just 1,000 times better if Cade can rely on Duren to also go out there and make an offensive play. Right. And he gets into it a little later, but getting the green light from JB to utilize a jump shot, working on his handles, his mobility has been what he's worked on most in conditioning. I mean, that just means he wants to be outside of the rim. He wants to space the floor. That's huge for a big guy. He wants to be able to turn and shoot. And I think him and Cade are obviously building that up. When I saw that they were at Red Rocks, because for those that don't know, I live in Denver. I was about to jump in my car and speed down there and go find them, because I was like, this is because Red Rocks, is a very, very cool place. I mean, that is running stairs at Red Rocks in altitude. Those guys are ready to play. They're ready. 2 minutes of basketball, so 40. I can't do the math. Right? Yeah. But and I just think that that's like you said. The fact that it just shows how much he cares. And especially after the start of last season, I think that it's important that he's, he remembers. He's not just brushing it off. So right. For sure. Yeah. He just seems more locked in. And that could be a byproduct of being around guys like Cade, who just have the maturity, as far as being older than their age. So I think that's really helped him as well. And because he's 21, he's still 21 years old. Crazy. Which is right. It's just insane to say that, but just that he also mentioned he said his body fat is down, his strength is up, understanding of the game is improved, so he's taking better care of his body. Like he's just doing the things needed to do to get to that next level, right? He talked about his defensive improvement. He said mobility wise, he's better, he's quicker, he's got better reaction time, and he said we'll see a huge step forward. And defensive rebounding is something that JB has been emphasizing. So I think we're going to see a defensive monster this season. Yeah. I think he's going to be a guy who has multiple 20 rebound games. I could see him just attacking everything, right? And just because that's what it is for him. It's the motor. If the motor is there, he's going to dominate. We've seen it, right? So he has everything else. He has the measurables. He's got the natural abilities, athleticism, strength already. So yeah, if he commits, and I believe he will, we're going to see him really dominate in the interior, I think, next season for sure. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, I like that you brought up the rebounds, because that's awesome. I mean, I think that the box out has become a thing of the past too. And I think that that's something that if people brought it back, holy cow, that affect and change the game. So, and I think, another kind of like Ausar, JD caught himself in some foul trouble as well. And a fair amount of games this season that had him benched early. And I think with the mobility and stuff, that's going to, and reaction time, that's going to drastically drop those numbers, because it just sounds like he's going to get into a position way better, way faster, way more confident. And that the fact that I think they asked him what his main focus this offseason was, and it was his body and getting stronger. And for a guy that young to have that mindset already is awesome, because to prep his body, that's that's the foundation, that's the foundation for his future success. So
right.
Again, the rebounding too, he had the 2020 game and he's so capable of more, like you said.
Yeah, he's gonna get a few this season. I can already see it. As far as the mobility and things like that, I was happy to hear that because we talked about Tobias and how he didn't have the size to guard Cat. He did have the quickness, lateral quickness. There were times I would see JD on the perimeter be able to keep up. It just wasn't consistent. So I don't think it was a lack of effort. I just don't think he was light enough on his feet at the time to be able to consistently do it, and that's why he would be in foul trouble. So I'm wondering if he took that personal. Like, hey, man, Cat's not going anywhere. He's going to be in New York for a while as of right now, right? It looks that way. So I think JD is maybe a little bit motivated to take that matchup personally because we saw Cat hit some crazy shots that you just got to kind of give it to him. If you're going to make that, fine, you can have it. But JD played good defense. So I think JD kind of took that personal. And I think we're going to see a little bit different, more of a fire. At least I think he's going to get up for those games. I'll just say that. I have no knowledge on it. I just knowing him. It just seems like he has that prideful mentality. You think about what's Sabonis when he first came into the league, and somebody asked him about Sabonis. He said, they asked him, how hard is it to guard Sabonis? He said, ain't that hard. Like, he's just like, nah, I ain't giving you, I'm here to beat you. So he has that pride and that fire in him. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he had that in the back of his mind the next time we play the Knicks for sure. Yeah, I agree. And like you said, a weapon like Cat, there's just some shots that you can't stop Cat from making. Cat is Cat, but you're gonna make it hard. And I have no doubt in my mind that he took that personal. And I mean, I can see guys like Tobias reminding him of it, like, again, with the accountability. I don't see any of these guys letting things slide. I think great point.
And his arms, they look bigger. He says he lost, fat and got stronger, not around the arms. He got stronger for sure, but like those are huge. He's not that he was ever like a small guy, but when he was a rookie, he was lean. This guy, he's filling out, he's getting big. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, he's definitely a man child for sure. Yeah, man child for sure. As far as Jalen Duren, a few more things, and then we will move on. He talked once again. He was asked about the extension, and he said, "I'm focused on getting better and getting ready for the season." Yeah. So they're not giving anything, nor should they. Playoffs last year. He mentioned that the playoffs last year, the team got a taste of what could be, and they learned a lot. But that it's entirely a different brand of basketball. Once again, attention to detail, and now he said it's time to capitalize on it. He said no excuses as to why they cannot go further next year. So I love to hear that. It's music to my ears. And that's the expectation that is set now. That's what we all are hoping for. We have that much confidence in these guys to be able to go and do it. And, we'll see what happens. But it's good to hear that from him. Also, he talked about working with Rashid. He said he's been in touch with Rashid since college. He was a mentor for him. And he said when he got back to Philly, they got some work in. So that was nice to hear. You can't get in too much work with Rasheed Wallace. That dude is not only a talented basketball player, but his mind and the way he understands the game and his IQ is on another level. That's what made him so good. So love to hear that he was working with Sheed. I actually just said last show, chat. I wish she was still here for JD. Yeah. So yes, it's just great to hear that. It's great to hear that. Last thing, and then I'll let you chime in. Yeah. He talked about how he was asked about how he's kind of grown with the team since being drafted here. And he said it's become home. He hopes to spend his whole career here. And he said that fans and cities have embraced him. He said he likes to move around. He likes to, get out and travel, the city and things like that. He said everywhere he's been in the city has been love, and he wants to give everything to show that he loves us back. So the love is real. For him to say that he wants to retire a Piston basically that's a great thing to hear. That's always what you want to hear from guys, right? And I think he understands in order to do that, he has to embody what this team is, right? So if he truly means that, and I believe him, we're going to see him eventually become that guy that we know he can be at in his final form. Yes, so,
100%.
At 21 to say you want to retire with the team you're at, fabulous. Let's go. Bring on the next 15 years. Right. And then to go back to some of the things you brought up with the playoffs last year, him being like it's a totally different, feel to now have that experience and, barely losing a series for your first time in the playoffs. gosh, they're just going to come in so much more clean, so much more, intentional. And that's awesome that he mentioned that. And then, just going around and, working with Rashid, I mean, that's a big man. That's a big man that's mobile, and, maybe not as quick and nimble, but like that dude can move the space of the floor fast if he wants. And,
Portland Sheed, that dude was an athlete, because when he came to Detroit, he was at the tail end athletically. He still had a little bit, but he had gotten a little bit heavier, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have, it wasn't quite the same, but it was still good enough for the first couple years that he was here. So I think in those early years like that you're talking about, he really, he was definitely able to relate to JD as far as how they move. I just want to throw it in there because you were Sheed for sure.
And Sheed was kind of ahead of his time. I mean, now all the big guys can shoot threes and bring it up the floor and create offense. It's kind of, shouldn't say all the big guys, but it's more expected in today's NBA. And I think, that was something that Rashid, could do. And if Duren can turn into one of those big guys, huge. And I think, is he gonna be his peak self this season? No. But he's going to be much better than last season, and that's all we can ask for. That's scary
100%.
enough.
100%.
He's not someone I would want to run into. I remember the first time I saw him out here in Denver, and he was interviewed. My buddy that I was with, like, he just heard him. He's like, that kid is 19. It's like, that kid is 19, and he's already improved so much since then. But I think having JB here to point out and again hold them accountable and be like, this is what I expect of you. This is what I challenge you to do. Gosh, that is, it's gone to him. It's gone to everyone. And it's apparent. So he's going to come out strong. And the green light on the jump shot, I cannot wait. He made a couple of good ones last year, but it sounds like he's excited to do it. He was another one. It's like, you're all going to see. You're all going to see. And when they do that, because that means that they themselves, they're not just spewing, they're not just saying what they prepared for media day. They're like, you guys are going to see. This is what I'm telling you right now. I'm betting on myself, and I believe.
Now listen, I'm gonna keep it a stack. So last season, y'all know I talked about JD and him grabbing and going, right? Boarding and pushing. I talked about it, grabbing, rebounding, and pushing the ball. I said last year it was a few times. It wasn't often, but it was enough to was like he would try to make a play and he turned it over. It's like, come on, JD, come on, bro, come on, man. We got outlet, right? So if he improves on it, and I'm sure he will. Okay. I just don't want to see them turnovers because you can see him getting to like immobile. I'm about to make this play. And a few times he did where he went and cupped the basketball and blocked the shot, cupped it and went coast to coast. So he can do it. He can do it. If it consistently looks like that or something like that, I'm here for all of it. Right. Well, it was just last year a few times. I'm like, come on, JD, you got to pull it back a little bit. Find your point guard.
Well, it's like with his jump shot, he's working on his handles. Because I agree with you in the sense that he would bring up the floor and dribble to his armpit, and you're like, slow it down, guy. Like you can't just go because that's lacking control. That's stopping too fast. That's opening up yourself for a steal. It's picking up the ball too early. So with his jump shot, he's working on the handles. So I think I think that is going to be different. I think like a lot of these big guys have said, the goal next year, I think, will again be like this year, where get to the other side fast break, go, don't sit up. It's also going to wear out the other team, especially if we have 5 guys that are out there that can make a mid-range or more. That's awesome. So I think we'll see a lot of breakaways, and I'm sure with his rebounding, he will be the one to bring it up. So,
and he's going to get his playmaking opportunities as well. He can make play. I think he averaged 3 assists last year for a big man. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Right. So he definitely can do it. It's just a matter of slowly adding things to his game while not losing who you are at the foundation. And this team has a handle on how to do that. You can see it already. So I'm looking forward to JD next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to some comments, and then we'll go on to our last 2 guys for the night. Detroit Jew, what's going on, bro? The Cavs have interest in Beasley. That's interesting. Heisenberg says, I don't know if I haven't seen him in person yet. I'm not sure if JD is grown. I thought maybe possibly. We'll see. Embody the city. Yes, that's what we're asking for. Let's see. Did you already speak in? We talked about that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get back to our last 2 guys. First one being Jaden Ivey. So Jaden Ivey, had some good stuff to say. Good stuff to say for sure. So we'll go to him and let's see what Jaden had to say.
Process from January 1st until now. Can you just walk us through, specifically getting to the offseason and getting healthier? How are you feeling, and just what is the process like to get to this point to where now you're playing 5-on-5 and full contact?
Man, it's been a journey, bro. It's been a journey. Look forward to playing games again. The journey has been definitely a grind to get back, to get healed, to get stronger. I'm definitely thankful to be in this position, be able to be back healthy and to do, what I've been working for my whole life to play this game. So I'm healed now and looking forward to this next season.
I'll let you have at it first.
Oh man, it's so good to see him. First of all, when he came up, I was like, let's go. He was the one I was most excited to see. He talked a lot about his just the grind and how hard it was to overcome and the challenges he's gone through. And, one of the things he brought up as a challenge was his rookie year. And I kind of took that, it made me think, because his rookie year, he probably did not expect to take over the number one point guard spot with Cade's injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just, for him to view that as a challenge is huge, because I also think that he's going to be more of a shooting guard than a point guard. Of course, he can do both. We've seen it. It sounds like he's more comfortable in the shooting guard. And I'm just, he's so excited to get back to it. I'll let you go on, because I know you'll bring up some comments, because I have more about other things, but if you want to take over here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll come back. Yeah, Devon says J.I. is huge. His defense and finishing is about to be crazy. Hope his shot is still there. So one thing that he did say he was working on, Devon, this offseason was his three-point shooting and his shot making. So once again, he wants to be even better, right? He wants to prove that 40% last season was not a fluke, right? So he has been working on his jump shot, has been working on his playmaking as well. I think he's going to be even better playmaker next season. I think he'll get more opportunities, and I think him having Ausar on the floor, a guy who's a great cutter without the basketball, and he's a great mover, it's just going to make everything so much easier for everybody. And we're going to see a lot of easy points in the half court and the fast break. You guys just get ready for that. That's coming for sure. But yeah, he definitely he talked about how it was hard for him not being on the court with his teammates in the playoffs last year. I can't imagine what that was like. Just knowing you can help your team. You're seeing Cade get crowded and get doubled when he crosses half court, and not being able to get downhill and make them pay for that, right? Just so it had to be hard for him. Had to be tough for him. But I'm sure that he will be only better because of it. But he also learned a lot from watching guys like Dennis Schroeder. He watched him. He said he watched the reads he was making, how he was making the right read and making the right play. And he was asked about his main drivers to power him through. And he said, what can get lost in this business is your identity. But he looks at himself as a man of God first. And his wife and his family is also a big part of him becoming who he is. And I can definitely attest to that. His father is somebody who I've, got a chance to know a little bit. And his father is a lot like Jaden is a lot like his father as far as his temperament. His mother too, but from what I've seen from his father, I see a lot of similarities with just how they carry themselves. And he's very much grounded. He's a family man, right? And that means everything to him, right? So he's definitely transformed as a person, and that's transferring on to how he's handling things, handling adversity, right? Handling the ups and downs. He just has a calm about him now. Right? He's at peace, and now he really can just focus on the things he wants to focus on. So it's just nice to see him in this place, and I think it's only going to help him on the basketball court, because his mind is going to be so much clearer. And he can just play free. So I can't wait to see J.I. play next year. He's gonna be a great player for his team. And I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, just a couple of things to go off that. I mean, I love that you brought up his, what drives him and everything, and your anecdote with his father, because J.I. he's always been emotional, passionate, just kind of a deep person. There's more than just the game. And I agree with you that I think this experience has shaped his mindset in a way that he knows that, without basketball, he'd still have support and a system and a life, but basketball is what he wants and what he wants to do. And he, just the fact that he sat on the bench and he never played with Schroeder, he sat on the bench and telling us that that's who he was most inspired by this season is amazing, because that means that he's paying attention. He's already thinking about what can I do when I get back to be better. And I can't even imagine going through the injury that he went through. And I think it was an interview shortly after his injury where he said that at first he was frustrated and now he has to learn to live with it. And it sounds like since that he has. And he's like, this happened. It made me stronger. It did this. And there was another thing that stood out to me is he didn't say, I'm excited to play. I'm excited to get a game. He's like, I'm ready for preseason game 1.
Yeah, I heard that too.
He said that I was like, he's going game by game. He's ready for preseason game 1. That's where it starts. That's where he'll see where he's at. And then I just know that immediately he's going to figure out how to improve for the next and the next and the next. And he's going to take it one game at a time. And it's exactly what this team needs.
No, that's exactly where I was going. I'm glad you mentioned that. He actually said these preseason games, we don't take them lightly. We're going to compete like it's game 1 of the regular season. So the sense of urgency is there. These guys are ready. I think these guys are ready to prove to others, but also to themselves. They want to see how good they can be. Yeah. Like we talk about from a distance, how we can't wait to see how good this team can be. These guys are on the court. You just mentioned how Schroeder never played a game with Jaden because Schroeder's not here if Jaden doesn't go down. It's just things like that we don't even think about. So being able to see him in that role and then being able to learn each other, if we're excited about that, imagine how those guys are going to be getting a chance to play with each other. So I think they just can't wait to get on the court and play meaningful basketball. And then as a result, show everybody what they've been doing in the offseason. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anything else on Jaden?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, a lot of guys like Coach and others just said that we'll just see how it goes. It's going to take an adjustment period. I think they're being a little bit modest for Jaden's sake because I think Jaden, of course it takes adjustment time, but I don't think it's going to take that long because he has played with these guys, most of these guys already. It's just getting back into the feel of it and figuring out his role. So I think that's why he's eager for preseason because he's ready to go out there and be like, okay, yeah, this is exactly where I thought I would be and or better, Gosh, I am just thrilled. And like you said, he's been trying to improve his mid-range game, which is just crazy because he's one of our best scorers. To just already be like, I just want to get better and better. Watching SGA, watching Donovan Mitchell, is just awesome. And his biggest hurdle right now is playing a game again, and that's happening in a week. And so once he accomplishes that, I mean, that's just going to do just so many great things for his mind game.
For sure. Yeah, we're talking about multiple guys now on this team who talked about having the mid-range game. So it's not extinct. It's definitely a thing that is very alive and well in the NBA. It's all about how you utilize it and when you utilize it. So, can't wait for J.I. next season, man. All these guys, I feel like all these guys last season, the young core, all of them pretty much had career seasons last year.
Yep. Pretty
much everybody. Cade, Jaden was on his way. Ausar, JD, Stu. Right. Like all these young guys really went off and had their best year in one season under JB. So it's like, why in the world would you touch that?
Yeah. I think it was someone in the media that asked or like told him like before you went out, you were having your best shooting percentage year. And it's not like he went out a month in. He was halfway through the season. So and that I think that I believe that would have continued. I don't think that it would have dropped off. I think that we were, the more we won, the more confident we got. And we were all so scared when he went out too. And I know some people use that as kind of the like premise for why he would be in a trade package. It's like, well, we did okay without him, but I just kept
so lazy.
I know, but and I was impressed with how we did without him because I was worried for our season because he was such a big contributor. And that's, and it's just, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see him.
Yeah. People forget the turning point didn't happen when he went down. As far as this team turning the corner, the turning point happened during the NBA Cup and competing for a spot in that tournament. That's what Tim Hardaway Jr. has said on record. He said when they got a taste of playing for something, it just made them turn it up a notch.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, they wanted to play for something else. And that's really, it just happened to be around the time that J.I. had the catastrophic injury, but they were already trending in that direction before he went down.
Absolutely.
So 100%. That's why it's just like, there's no reason to do anything hastily right now. And Trajan Langdon understands that for sure. Yep. All right, let's go to our last guy of the night, Mr. Cade Cunningham. Cade, what do you got for us, bro?
Just what's your offseason approach, man?
Yeah, obviously having that experience, that playoff experience, gives you something to learn from and then build off of. So really just watching that series a lot, watching the last 20 games of the season, just trying to, sharpen up as much as I can. But another healthy offseason for me. So, just grateful for that and grateful to be back.
And then one aspect you talked about in Trajan as well was just the conditioning aspect, playing 82 plus games. What was your approach toward that?
Yeah, obviously just being in as best shape as possible, cardio wise, strength wise, all that stuff being on point where I want it to be. And I think we've done a great job. I think the whole team has done a great job of putting ourselves ahead as far as when it comes to that.
Funny comment. Devon says, do we know if JD, Ausar, J.I., and all these dudes got bigger legs too? Did they skip leg day? I'm thinking about them jumping off the court. Bro, we got athletes, man. We have athletes. We definitely have athletes. And yeah. So what are your thoughts on what Cade had to say, sir?
You know what? I'll let you go first because there are a couple things that Cade.
I got a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready because there are a couple things that Cade said that were a little bit outside of that clip that stood out to me. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what he said.
I rounded off. All right. Okay. First of all, it looked like he got bigger again.
Yes.
Like every all season, he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, he's definitely taking care of his body. You can see that he's looking at this as a project. Like this is not just a 1-year thing. I'm going to put on 10 pounds and I'm good. Like he's continuing to work on his body. Think about guys like LeBron, who over the years have continued to work on their body and get stronger in different areas. It seems like Cade kind of takes this seriously, very, very seriously, as far as just getting better over time and gradually getting to the place he wants to when he reaches his prime age-wise. How can I be peak Cade Cunningham? That's kind of what I'm seeing just from things like that. But he says what did he say? He said this has been the best offseason, best ran offseason that he's been a part of. He said as far as his goals for next season, he said we're cementing ourselves. We want to cement ourselves at the top of the East, winning games at the highest level, having one of the top records, and sharpening his decision-making. Those things will put him in position to have a great year. I think that was when he was asked about how he would go from All-NBA third team to second team. So, yeah, he definitely has his goals in mind. He's probably got a whole checklist of things he wants to accomplish, team first, and then individually after that as a result. But he's mentioning things that elite teams have and elite teams do, right? Top records, winning at the highest level. That's playoff basketball, right? So he understands now. That's all that matters is what happens when you get there, right? How far can we take this thing? And he actually said that. He said, we're trying to do something now. We're not trying to wait. Mm-hmm. We have the urgency to try to see what we can do right now. We want to go for everything right now. So they have high aspirations, and I love the ambitious attitude that they have. But he was serious today. Like he had a couple jokes here and there, but he wasn't smiling as the question was being asked. He was. Yeah. It was just a different countenance that he had. You could just notice that he's about business right now. He was still, respectful, friendly, polite, all that stuff, having fun. But it's just a different level of urgency now. You can see with Cade. Mm-hmm. He's ready. He wants more, and he's ready to lead his team to the next level.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I like that you brought that up because I think Cade he's always had faith in his ability and getting better. He always also wants room to improve, but tripling your win, getting that taste last year, getting to the playoffs, even if a lot of people were expecting us, hoping that we do better, get in the 20s, get in the 30s at most, winning, 40 plus games, huge for these guys' mindsets. The amount of attention, what has changed in just a year for Cade especially is amazing. And the fact that he just wants to keep getting better. He's not getting complacent. Again, I don't think JB or Trajan would allow anyone on their team to be complacent. Right. I think that they 100%. Would be gone. But I think Cade is hungry. Again, he said it just like everyone else. Then we're hungry. We have a chip on our shoulder. Yeah. We, they're not necessarily the hunters anymore, but they still are hunting for more and better. I think that even just in individual games, they want to score more. They want to shut it down. They want to close immediately. They don't want these down to the wire games. They want to come out, go out right away. And I agree with you. Just like with the whole seriousness, he is very good at, bringing in some jokes to lighten the tension, but he is all business right now.
Yep. And I love to see it. he talked about how the guys have spent time together this offseason. He said, J.I. being healthy, getting the chemistry back. It's great to have mainly the same group back, same coach and system. He said that makes a big difference, is having that consistency. He said the new guys fit as far as the core values and how they play the game. And he said the grit that they have, the selflessness that they have. He said they know the game, and having vets who have been there is important. And they have a great group of dogs and versatility. And he said, it's not much for me to really say right now. It's time for action. So once again, sense of urgency for him is just really there. How do you think the additions of guys like Caris Levert, we talked about it a little bit, but guys like Caris Levert, guys like Duncan Robinson, how do you think those guys are going to affect Cade and how he's able to be effective for this team?
Cade, to be able to work with these vets off season gives him a huge plus. It's something that he hasn't had, been able to do a lot. We didn't have like vets that were at the level of Levert and Robinson necessarily in the first few years of Cade's Cade with us, also with his injuries, he just didn't get to work with it. And of course we had great vets last year, but they were different. They were smaller.
Right.
And these guys are guards too, but they're bigger. And I think them being vets with experience and good experience has just helped Cade be more confident in his decision-making. He's not going to second guess giving those guys the ball. And you know what? He mentioned a name that no one else has, and that's Javonte Green. He said that he came out for his defense. Point. And that is exciting because whether that was, I'm going to, give Javonte Green, remind everyone that he's on our team, or whether that I think it's more Javonte, I'm giving you your props because I noticed you. And it's just, I think him, that right there is being a leader. That right there, going in front of the cameras and calling out Javonte Green is already Javonte confidence in his role, whatever that
15
in this team. And I just think Cade, again, mature beyond his years. Yeah, so young. It's shocking, but he is 24. Just a role model for everyone, no matter how long they've been in the league. So
one of the oldest 24-year-olds in the league for sure.
Truly.
You look around the league, you see other guys who are 24. You can tell they're 24 for sure. As far as he talked about also, it was basically he was asked what advice would he give a guy like Jaden Ivey, who sustained Cade's going through that process of having a leg injury, different injury, but it had him out for a long period of time, most of the year when he was out. And he basically just said that he could relate to him because he understands that when that kind of thing happens, there's so many thoughts that can go through somebody's head when you sustain that kind of an injury. And he said he knows that J.I. wants to be great and that he just wants to reassure him that he's going to get there. Because sometimes it can look a little bleak when you're in the moment and when you're, watching your team, from the sideline in the most important time, the playoffs, like J.I. mentioned, right? So that's something that actually Cade didn't have to go through, right? So I can imagine what it's like for a guy like J.I., but Cade does understand what it's like to not be able to be there for your guys. So I do think that was nice to hear that, it's nice for J.I. to have somebody, the leader on your team, be able to relate to you in that catastrophic way, so that I think that can go a long way for a guy like Jaden for sure. He talked about Melo and trying to schedule workouts with him. He said, me and Melo, we talked a couple times, we set up a couple workouts, but we haven't been able to make it happen. Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. I can't, like that jab step pull-up jumper. Just man, that could be really nasty if he spends any amount of time with him. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I was hoping they were going to do this offseason because they were kind of hinting at it. I think Melo was kind of talking about on his show how he wanted to get that set up, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But whenever it does happen, we're going to see a difference at some point because Melo offensively, his bag was limitless. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. A guy, Cade, and no offense to, I'm not trying to offend Melo here, but like a guy with Cade's humility and I love Melo, but Cade, the way that Cade brings it to the game, he someone with Cade's demeanor and Melo's offense is another weapon. So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, so, I know what you mean as far as a mature. We talked about Cade just being mature for his age. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
Yeah. And he mentioned a lot of guys, but he also mentioned Sasser, another Sasser mention.
He did.
Sasser's learning from Cade. Fantastic. Because again, if he's slowing down his game, that tells me that he's already learning from Cade, So it's that's just as exciting. And any young guy, and I'll be curious to see draft positions who we bring in the future, but any aspiring point guard, I think, would be lucky to learn behind Cade.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I mean, we ain't got to get too far deep into it, but yeah, Cade has had some great teachers.
Yeah.
Growing up, he's had his family, obviously his brother Cannon, who played for Larry Brown at SMU, Southern Methodist, right? So like, it doesn't get any better than Larry Brown. You know what I mean? The same Larry Brown that coached here. So it's just like the connection is ridiculous. Who knows what stories, Larry Brown has told Cade's older brother when they were together as player and coach about the bad boy Pistons or the going to work Pistons. Like you never know, right? Yeah. So there isn't a better guy to learn from. So yeah, the connection. That's why Cade is regarded as such a smart player. Mm-hmm. It's because he has, family in his own family. Who knows how many lessons he's got from Ken as far as things, what to expect that give him a jump on the competition, right? So it's a great situation for him for sure.
That's a great point, because I knew that he played for his brother played for Larry Brown, but I forgot about that. But Larry Brown's whole thing was fundamentals.
100%.
He would take you out of the game if you missed a rebound or a box out. Mm-hmm. He was like, you're done. And that's apparent in Cade's game. Cade's all about fundamentals. Right. He's not this guy who's out there complaining. One of my favorite things about Cade is that he's looking to shoot the ball to make a basket, not looking to shoot the ball to draw a foul, and it's not, there's some players that, do that often, and sometimes they take advantage of the moment, but Cade's never that way. Cade's never like, oh, let me try to draw a foul in this clutch moment. No, he's like, I'm going to go make the basket in this clutch moment and see what happens. And that's Larry Brown-esque. So Larry Brown would not like any theatrics either. So
100%.
That's a great point. I forgot about that.
Man, he's
on his brother.
He's got some great teachers for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely an advantage for him for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if Sasser can learn from a guy like him, if he is learning and watching from a guy like Cade, and that will be a really good situation for Sasser. So I'm hoping for because he's so talented, man. He's so gifted. So yeah, we talked about him already, but circling back, Sasser, we pulling for you, bro, for sure.
I just think with how much he was brought up, he's playing
for sure.
How much he was brought up by so many different people, they're planning on utilizing him more. Maybe not the backup point guard like I suspect, but he's going to get more minutes. There were stretches of weeks that he didn't get any. So
right, I think he played like 57 games last year. So he had some DNPs too. So hopefully he gets more opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
All right, as far as with Cade, a few more things. He said, in the end, we all want a championship out of this. There's more steps to be taken. So you heard JD say no excuses. You're hearing all these guys say sense of urgency. You're hearing Cade say, more steps to be taken, nothing more to talk about. Like all these guys are just ready to stop talking and just go play.
Yeah,
they're ready.
Let's show you.
Who knows how long they were stewing after that loss, right? So I'm sure they want to get back out there and prove it, and they have the confidence and they got the talent. So now it's a matter of putting it together.
Yeah.
A few more things on Cade. He said on his shot diet, he said, I did like that I got those long 2 numbers down. Mm-hmm. When things go bad, I know I can get to that shot so early on when it was hard to find points. I searched that out more. Mm-hmm. Now with a more efficient offense, it's important for me to get efficient shots. But once again, now with a more efficient offense.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people, we're not going to call him out, but when Cade first got drafted, people didn't think he was going to be the player that he is now.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it has to do with the guys you have around you. And unfortunately, the team wasn't built for him to be successful. Right.
Yeah.
So he's out of his own mouth. He said, now with the more efficient offense, like he's basically saying, I have a team now that I can really work with and that can help me be at my best and vice versa for them. Right. So, he's not telling the lies. It is what it is. But I'm just happy he's getting that opportunity now. I'm glad he has a situation now and structure now. He has what he needs. Now he has what he needs to really be able to take this team next level, not from respectable to next level, to contender.
Yeah. And he's getting the national attention, which he absolutely deserves.
Right.
The fact that we have 16 televised games, and a lot of that, our team is our team, and we work together as a team. But a lot of that is Cade, and he knows it, and I think he knows his position in not just the Pistons, but in the NBA as a whole. It's like an upcoming guy for young guys to look up to, also. And so his game is beautiful, and we haven't seen. I don't know how many games of Ivy, Ausar, Cade
9,
Like,
I believe.
9. Oh, and I mean, just the connection that Ivy to Duren, Cade to Ausar, Ivy to, Cade to Duren. Ivy hasn't had much to Ausar, but like, gosh, they're just gonna be.
There was one that I saw last year.
Yeah.
Between those two.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And that just like we're learning to work with the new guys we brought in, them learning to work with that in the off season. I'm so happy that Ausar gets an off season, and you could tell that Ausar was excited to be.
He was. From ear to ear. Yeah.
He's ready, and they just have such a good feel right now. And I mean, like I said in the beginning, they've got me hyped, and I know it's so close. We're so close to some preseason too.
Yep.
But gosh, I cannot wait for us to go out there and make our mark.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to shoot like a cannon, honestly. I think they're going to hit the ground running, looking to prove things really early. That last year wasn't a fluke, and this year's going to be even better. They just seem to have that about them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love every bit of it.
And Cade,
go ahead.
Cade has a afro back in that video.
Did he what?
Did he have the afro back? Or did he still have his?
Yes, he had it, bro. He had the fro.
I just was wondering.
You was hoping you going to see Braid Cade?
Well, when we had Braid Cade last year, we went 0-4. So I'm wondering if it's it's also a thing for him.
No, that's a good point.
I know.
Bad juju, maybe. Just trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I was like, I'm curious if he's going to start like that again. But I mean, there's still time. He might. But
you never know. You never know.
Just wondering because not that I attribute it to that, but I was wondering if that.
Wait, so we started the first 4 games last year. He had the braids.
Yeah, at least he
started.
I
didn't realize that.
I
didn't realize that. Okay.
With the braids, I believe, because I remember looking up and I mean, like that. I don't know. I just like when I picture Cade, I picture his fro.
Yeah. It looked kind of weird.
It's like when Ben Wallace had braids too. I was like, no.
Yeah, he needed fro. Yeah, I know that's facts. When you put it like that, I can't really argue with you. Okay.
I was just, I don't know how long he had them, if he got them right away. I just remember the beginning, and then he never got them again, and things took off.
He didn't go back to it. I noticed that. Like once he went away from, he didn't go back to it. So maybe you might be owning something there for sure.
Yeah,
we did definitely start off 0-4 and then get better from there. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. All right, last thing, okay. He was asked about some guys that stood out to him. His teammates. He mentioned J.I. coming off an injury. He said he's been progressing fast. He said Ron Holland has had a great summer. Ausar has also had a great summer, and Ausar is going to make a lot of noise this year. He's going to wake a lot of people up. That was the most extensive answer he gave for anybody.
Yeah.
So he's hyped about Ausar. I think as we all are, right?
Yeah.
But once again, just having the time, having the opportunity is really all that was missing for him last offseason. So he's got it now, and I think Cade, like everybody else, is seeing what his capability is going into the next season. So, and he said JD also improved, and he mentioned Sasser. He also you mentioned he mentioned Sasser too. So, yeah, this team, man, it's like waking up a sleeping giant, man. It just feels like it's a lot of people are going to be surprised about what this team can do next year. I firmly believe that. Believe that.
And like you said, they didn't. Obviously, no one's going to come out on media day and trash their team. But nothing felt fake or forced.
Right.
And again, no one was. I mean, there were guys mentioned a lot, but I mean, if you didn't know the Pistons and you tuned in and everyone's mentioning Sasser, you might be like, who is Sasser?
Right.
And so just, that to me, that just speaks to how real they feel about it. And I think for Cade to notice Ausar's difference, everyone's difference, but especially Ausar, I think that it's there, So.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get to a few comments and then we will wrap this up, guys, for tonight. Let's see what we got. Devon says, if Pistons don't break out this year, next year, be aware. I've been saying for years they have the best core in the East. Yeah, he's been calling them, what does he call them? OKC East. He's been calling them OKC East for a while now. So I got to give him that one as far as, and I get it. You got the star player with a bunch of really good potential all-star players and just a lot of depth and hard play, hard defensive play. It makes sense. I definitely see it. I got to give him his credit for that one. That's his patent. OKC East. Let's go to a few more comments and then we will call it, guys. Heisenberg says, Schroeder's short stay with us really seems to have left a positive impression on our young. For sure. A lot of guys reference him. They talk about how he's helped them a lot. Even guys who didn't even get a chance to play when he was here, like J.I. So definitely made an impact for sure. Dwayne says, we still haven't seen a season of Cade, J.I., Ausar, Stu, and JD healthy. Exactly. That's not even counting Ron.
Yeah.
So you're right. We haven't seen those guys healthy at all. It hasn't happened. So there's no need to rush. There's no need to, it's not broke. It's not broke. Do we know if JD, Ausar, J.I., and all these dudes got, we got that one already. Let's see what else with them whole team with them chocolate show. I'm dead. I'm screaming. Dwayne says, hope Rondo locked in with. Yeah, that was another guy we talked about. Melo, but also Rondo. Yeah, that's a great guy to learn from. Man, Rondo was his IQ was ridiculous. Guys to this day still talk about how smart he was. Go ahead.
I remember just growing up watching it, and I could not stand Rondo, and it wasn't because of who he is. It's just his play. We could not stop him.
Yep.
I just remember when I hear Rajon Rondo, I'm just like, it just sends chills down my spine. Like, ugh,
yeah. And it's Boston. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I know. And it was just like another weapon, because I think he was new after the 2000 rookie in the later 2000s, I think, and then so like he already
they won
that.
in 2008, and he wasn't. I think he was a second-year player. He was really young. Yeah.
The Celtics were an issue already since like the early 2000s. And so to add a guy like Rondo, I think it just frustrated the heck out of me watching him play. So if that's I would love our players to stir that kind of emotion into other young fans watching, them being like, oh no, we have the Pistons tonight. I'm scared. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That's definitely coming this season. For sure. For sure. Devon says, I'm low-key kind of sad. Cade didn't work with Melo. Wemby worked with a couple of guys. I think Cade did work with Dr. J. He didn't say it, but we kind of know. Yeah, I saw a picture of him looking at Dr. J's ring like, ooh, so I thought that was cool. He said, oh, yeah, before, I forget, sorry, Gerald Wallace. Maybe. Gerald Wallace was a ridiculous athlete, underrated athlete, especially with the Bobcats. I remember he was a great athlete, good defender. I think Ausar's going to be better, though, for sure. He's going to be better than Gerald Wallace.
I think a Ausar and a men comps are hard. I mean, LeBron even said it himself. We've never seen guys like this.
Yeah, they're different.
We talked about like comparing Joe Dumars to someone doesn't exist.
Right. That's true.
Right now, so
yeah. Let's go to two more and then we'll call it. I think he had the braids when he hit the game winner. No, he didn't. He actually did not. He had the fro. I remember that vividly when he held the jersey up against Miami. He had the fro. For sure. I remember that vividly. I'll never get that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Cam says, Sarah, you were great. Yes, Sarah, you were a great guest and had a lot of great talking points. So yeah, y'all show Sarah some love for sure, man. She was on her game tonight as she usually is. She was on the show before. You've been before, right?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I've been on your fan show and I hope to be on more with some post games this season.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Do you think?
I was just gonna say, a lot of people don't know me yet, but I mean, I live in Denver, but I'm from Chicago. I've been a Pistons fan since I was little, and have just watched them since the early 2000s, and they're just my team. But just big into basketball, and the Nuggets are fun to watch. They're not in our division, so unless we play them in the finals, I'm nothing to worry about. But the Pistons are my team, and I'm excited to talk to anyone about the Pistons. Text me anytime. We'll talk about them.
With that, so how do we follow you? Where do we follow you at? What's your handle?
So on Instagram, I'm at Sarah Lou Boss. We can put it up.
Look in the description.
Yeah. At Sarah Lou Boss. That's where I'm at now. I've been told I should jump on the Twitter game because I've been told I'd be good at keeping up with the Pistons Twitter sphere. I heard it's fun out there, so I might just do that. But for now, it's just Instagram. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, so as she mentioned, she is going to be doing the post-game recaps for next season. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Y'all know me, man. Y'all know I'm I definitely love people who know the game. She knows the game. For sure. We've had extensive conversations about old head stuff. Like, how do you even remember that? Like, how do you even, but she's on her game. She knows her history. She understands what she's looking at. She understands the game. So it's going to be fun having her perspective on, especially having lived in different cities like the Bulls. We got history with the Bulls and teams we don't have history with, like the Nuggets, right? So we can learn more about Jokic. She's got some great Jokic stories. She's seen him up close. She's been to a lot of their games. She's got stories about a lot of things that I didn't even know about. It's like, wow, I didn't know it went down like that. Things you would only know if you lived there, right? Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun having you on this season for sure. I am looking forward to it. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I just want to say thanks for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it too. This was fun, and like you said, we've gone on to just check in and for 10 minutes and ended up talking for an hour about basketball. So like you, and like everyone here, go Pistons, and I'm so excited for this season. It is so close, guys. And I think it was Devon who said if the Pistons don't break out this year, then next year. I agree, but I think this year, all we had to do was some fine tuning, and we've got it. So
I totally agree with that. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that and talking about those things as they transpire throughout the season. So, guys, Pistons training camp begins tomorrow, and we are going to keep you guys tapped in with the latest updates as they transpire. So, as far as their schedule, they play the first of 4 preseason games on October 6th. That is on the road against the Grizzlies, followed by the Milwaukee Bucks on the road October 9th, the Cleveland Cavaliers after that on the road again on October 14th. And the final game is a home matchup. I'm not sure exactly what that date is. I will check and let you guys know later, but that is the final game, and that is at home. I actually need to find that out because I'm going to that game. So if you guys are going to be at that game, definitely tap in with us. Let us know where you're sitting. We'll meet up, do all that stuff, have a lot of fun, talk about the regular season, whatever. We'll talk about all of it. So definitely tap in with us, guys. But that is a wrap for this episode. We are going to be back in full swing. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Have your alerts turned on because we're going to be dropping all the latest news, and you guys are not going to miss that. But until then, as always, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. And y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
And when you knock me down, I'm getting back up. Cause when I step on the floor, you know your time's up. I'm on my way up and I'm not gonna stop. We headed straight to the top in the know. I gotta face it, I got no